Ebusiafo ne tie for Ahai Daily Update TV so ta share and answer no first time I share so any day no bo kwan so na wa subscribe and sing news bia na she bia benya notification e wo phone so abesha fin so me fi so abesha mo adam for so enye bia tie for me go to the majority yinim say voter registration eno na ekoso ama insensem ya so ya yes NPP ni mapa e fe na Ahiagbah no oye nima bia just any like emfa eno na ama eye NDC group e fe no reku so aba bonten aka cha IGP say omo arrest ni sisi immediately omo arrest no because the oye no eye calling down the crampo na omo say omo fe na toto na no a eye obeku social media so be bia na man for church say eye calling down the arrest no information beto dwa che say sa eye voting center na eye we cha Ahiagbah koye ne nyama asem ho no eye calling down the nankasa mu de wanko bio na so any vehicle keke ene ba ho a just say bia ono party member ni bi ene de sa aka ne ba ho ba ono amu de wan we still na kwampo nsi wa just police for friend na bia fa bia am say eye calling down the arrest na nenso enya no crack we no kan say eye Richard Ahiagbah na say yet ne ane to prison IGP or like or ma IGP pressure say one chintum immediately no can say a cheater is a cheater do baby we cheat into the wire no yemfa kwam you proof for na ye and match na dada into we MPP ni die ade is no grampo no be a refi as we defend one political party more than other political parties or in some brain na a require point America in some name more rematches or cancer cofado so HET a 2020 election society VT ya is no AFA kweti so declare so na winner because up to now 2020 election na by no result na by no easy declare almost 8 times in some brain na require account or come in kuti ne ba e dem come to na to aso
Honorable ßreaꝁɪňg South, and away from even that, there's been several, issues of violence in other voting centers. For instance, I think in K2 North, where Ahiagbah, who is the director of communications for the NPP, he actually went there to register, but the people prevented him. According to them, he'd actually registered somewhere else in 2020, and so why would he come there again? So even his nationality was challenged. I don't know if you've seen that video. His nationality was challenged over there. The people did not agree that he registers over there. I'm starting with Dr. Rob on this subject matter, the voter registration exercise and the issues that have come up with it.
Yes, Kwame.
Bless.
Yes, we are told that Honorable Collins Dauda never appeared there, but that it was his vehicle that went there. He never appeared there. So how could he have been fomenting trouble at the registration center? Just suppose that with the situation of Ahiagbah, a citizen, strong citizen, very knowledgeable citizen who should be law-abiding, voted in 2020 with his name written in pen, goes to another registration center to register. Are we mad in this country? People who are supposed to be leaders, people who are determining policy, and this man is still walking around. Jesus Christ, save this country. He is walking around, and Collins Dauda, who never appeared there, we are told is arrested. I mean, so are we in a country? I mean, why did we went to school not to be truthful? A policy think tank. He is supposed to be the president of the policy think tank, Dampare Institute.
But he was.
Oh, he was now director of communication. I mean, come on. Can you put a thief as your watchman? I mean, this is a clear case of putting a thief as your watchman. He will steal everything. I mean, it baffles me that we can entertain Ahiagbah walking around. It baffles me completely. He should have been in prison now. Instant prison. Because what are we teaching the next generation? What are we teaching them? You voted. How did you vote in the last election? And anybody who facilitated his voting in the last election must be traced and dealt with. This alone can nullify the last election. Because it nullifies it, because we are told that the EC, even as at now, doesn't know what figure the president won with. Because for about 5 consecutive times they came up with different figures. And that is why the president has the effrontery to be saying what he is saying. He won't hand over to somebody he defeated. You cheated and defeated. He should add that to his vocabulary. He will not hand over to somebody he cheated and defeated. Because what Ahiagbah did is he cheated for the president because he voted for the president. So the 2020 elections is tainted. And the whole world should know that if even he won with illegal votes. And one of the votes was Ahiagbah's vote. And he shouldn't be walking around. Dampare is supposed to have interdicted from police people who were not doing their duty. He should recall those policemen who were in 2020 who were supervising the elections at the place where Ahiagbah voted. Because I'm told that they never allowed him easily to vote. Why didn't the police intervene? And if they didn't intervene, everybody should be punished. And I think that unless this matter is resolved in the law courts, and the IGP should act now and get him confined, because these are the people walking around and formulating policy for our country, Ghana. And he is not a credible fellow. Extremely dishonest. And such dishonest people should not be allowed to continue walking freely in Ghana. Extremely dishonest person. Why would you make an attempt to register when you know the law and you talk the law all the time, trying to tell people to do the right thing, and you are doing a wrong thing, inconceivable wrong, and you are walking Ghana smiling and explaining your circumstance? Go explain what happened to the law courts, and let the courts determine that you didn't do anything wrong. Otherwise, we are in trouble as a country. And unless there's accountability, as I've already indicated, people must account for their deeds. We cannot progress as a nation. And Ahiagbah must be taught a lesson. He must be taught a lesson to serve as an example to potentials. A poor woman who says, look, I lost my ID card and therefore I decided to vote, to go and register again because I find it difficult to get an ID card, is arrested. A poor village woman is arrested. Just because his knowledge, his information, he hasn't got adequate information to take the right decision. But this is a very educated man, talks extremely well, but behind it is a mask of criminality. Behind it is a mask to destroy this country. Because a country that is not governed by people who win elections fair and square is a country that is doomed. Because once you cheated to be elected, you are going to continue the cheating throughout your life. Because a cheater is always a cheater. But when a cheater is caught, he is dealt with according to law.
Right, thank you very much, Dr. Robert Kuganap. A very interesting submission there. Let me come to Ᵽrɪwania.
Well, bless.
In our earlier submission, I think that we alluded to free and fair elections as one of the most fundamental tenets for democracy. And to that extent, people must, as it were, be given that free will to exercise their right to vote. And it is in voting that the people contribute to the quality of leadership. And so we all know that in order that people are able to vote, they first and foremost ought to be registered to that effect. And we must try as much as possible as an established democracy, because Ghana, we keep touting ourselves as the beacon of democracy in Africa. And for that matter, we must be seen to be living by what we claim.
For any idea, Reku Ababontin, Abekan to say, Omobo watches, say, or so much a year with Ᵽrɪwania and many mayor or can't charge GP on arresting to see non to prison because the way no any like and Fakwem, you quite easy Mremoa. Ye ma kwan say obi betima vote saa nkwa vote e ba kope registration e ba kope eno na ma reku ababonten ababa expose eye Ahiagbah ono say ade e ba for no kra ne say ade a calling down nye no mo say waye ama police for friends say sinisi abafa we bia no mo say calling down dey ache no nenso enche no nenso Ahiagbah no niema waye no company intimi arrest no eno na wo kan charge bi on arresting sisi we no kan say is no onye unfair to NDC because NDC for crowd the problem ba no about to buy me before the bad year now I serious oh sir nenso eno na ama NDC communicator ba kun so awet na one nsa no ka no and just say is no or favoritism I don't know enya the papa cry because we easy we electoral commissioner we refi as in some bobo refi do you got time back kwachi na okay can you ope na on cast oh amanyoku we echi the mental match amanyoku we the mental match we refi or election monti we had the problem by make sure so like obe solve so come ningo tie NDC group back so be kan e ba here dem come to number na we
to be. And it is because of some of these things that I say that Ghana's democracy is overrated. Because if you look that from 1992 to date, you are talking about some 32 years of practicing or operating the current fourth Republican democratic dispensation. And I think this is about the seventh time that we are engaged in a voters registration exercise. Was prior to 92, there was a voter registration exercise. There was voter registration exercise, I think, in 1994, about 7 or 8 times we have engaged in a voter registration exercise. Over the years, we have tried to improve upon it, but the restrictions and the impediments that people face in trying to get their names into the voters register, for me, those challenges have not changed. Why should it be difficult for somebody to walk to a registration center and go and get registered to vote? Why should it be difficult? But the Electoral Commission over the years, in my opinion, has played into the hands of political parties, especially whenever one political party is in government, to the extent that the level of suspicion regarding the fairness and the credibility of the Electoral Commission has always been very high among opposition parties. And to the extent that in the exercise of its mandate and its core duty, people think that the Electoral Commission is engaged in some acts of favoritism or whatever you may choose to call it. Other than that, I don't see why we should have these problems that we are having. You understand? And this current voter registration that is going on, people have raised legitimate concerns about the structure of the registration process. Right? If you look at the the nature of most of our districts and where these district officers of the Electoral Commission are located or situated, you would have nothing else to do than to try to facilitate the process of registration for your perceived supporters. Now, we are all concerned about this issue of busing. People say that potential registrants should not be bused to registration centers. But bless, if I know, for instance, if you go to Wa Central constituency, my hometown is a village under Wa Central constituency, about 8 kilometers from the one municipality, where they will have to come and register. These are people who are engaged in subsistence farming to fend for themselves, and they have to go to their farms. They are engaged in some other activities for their daily upkeep. Then I have an interest in they registering or not registering, and so they are certain they are somewhere, and I think that they have to come and register. Whose duty is it to facilitate for them to come and register? But they do not care, because this is a limited voters registration exercise, which is not done at polling station or electoral areas. So they will say that no, we will wait. When it is a mass registration exercise, where the registration center will be close to me, then I can easily go and register and go back to engage in whatever daily activity I am engaging. But I want them to register now. So I would have to facilitate their movement to the registration center. You understand? How can that be the problem of the politician? It is the problem of the Electoral Commission.
I agree.
It is a problem of the Electoral Commission, because when you go into these constituencies, you know where an NDC stronghold is. You know where an NPP stronghold is. Probably you would get to know where a butterfly stronghold is. You would surely know where a PNC stronghold is. And so if I want as many people as possible from my stronghold to get registered onto the voters register, I would have to facilitate their registration. You understand? And those who also know that, they try to impede the process, and that is what amounts to voter suppression. Because I know that as many people that are unable to vote from my opponent's stronghold is to my advantage. Just like the reports we are getting regarding what happened in Esonafo South, where it is claimed that Honorable Collins Daughter was arrested. And excuse my language, I think that I have every problem. I have every problem with the way our media reports these things. The fact that somebody is invited and questioned does not mean that he has been arrested.
That's how that's how the Ghana Police Service.
You understand? Because if the man,
how they reported,
if the man is invited to come and answer questions regarding his involvement in a matter, that cannot be an arrest.
That's how the Ghana Police Service.
Then it means the Ghana Police Service, their PR got it wrong. There's a difference between an arrest and an invitation to be queried or to be questioned on a matter of concern. You understand? But you see, the structure of media ownership in Ghana today, where we allow politicians to own a chunk of the media, is the reason for which we get the kind of reportage that we get. Because the media houses are set with a certain clear agenda. You understand? And so for me, I think that we should begin to think about ways of sanitizing the
Funny for any idea about to or say my tea for a permanent amount to news here. A require NDC guru, which is on Saba Bonting. A Casad in Collins down on no mummy arresting a Richard and Abanso and then I'm arresting. And no catch IGP say on one arresting is see or munching to move to prison and found of grand guninsa. They said the warrior or Ghana no any yipa because Uko is in memoir. Opportunity was a vote back up. Sounds registration register back up. Who register people? All kinds of us are registered to send a bill about to now. But to say 2 times. I know, and I marry ⱣrɪSMA on 10 can't if a beer a year or more because I will follow Crampono a year 2020 election now. Uchiti at ton or defeat here a year easy Crampon register election. The man I married John Draman Mahama. Elusino. In our Crampono, I say easy Crampono. You take your more account because the Omoyeno any sharing. We no cancer which I am banner was say or much no nyansa pan because the way no will be away cheater. We no can say easy no. As a easy and as electoral commission or can no. And as a baby no. Who at as a referee. You how come say we beat him though like or support a comma a one political party now another political party in there like one for any come so we are referee until be an problem by or so now making sure so best of your mom nature a favoritism now we are Ghana no. Instead of no more kind of very interested for our drink and bro comments as I feel so bit me so I shall more down for so any be I might need no book so yeah the day for you so bad 11 share.